Okay, so today I want to take a few moments to talk about our test grade resume. I had you complete the resume pre-writing a few weeks ago, and if you haven't completed that and turned that in to me, it'd be a good idea for you to do that. You can still turn that in for some reduced credit, maximum of 70. However, we need to move on with the resume test grade. So, here I have the assignment. I haven't assigned it yet, it's just a draft. But I want to talk about what you need to know to be successful not only on this test grade, but actually come out with a good resume that you can use for college entry, scholarship, or even in the career field in your future. So, I have a couple of samples here. We'll start with this sample here. This is a more basic one-page resume, and this is a former student resume. I've made it, I've changed names and addresses and stuff like that, but this is actually a real student resume. You'll notice it's one page long, with the second page being references. Now, the first thing I want to say is references need to be on a page by themselves, and yes, you must have 3 references that are not related to you, that are not students, and you must at least have their phone number and their mailing address. Email is optional, but if they're not willing to give you that information, they're really not a good reference for you. Think of teachers, coaches, preachers, neighbors, family friends of your family, that sort of thing. Pay attention also to how it is laid out. It's a very neat, organized way. Each entry is organized the same way and looks very neat. Now, going back up here, you'll see that we start with the person's name and their contact information. Now, as far as name and contact information, you need all of that towards the top. You need it very easy to read. Some students like to use fancy fonts and make it pretty. Well, the purpose of a resume, yes, is to be impressive looking, but the real purpose of a resume is for someone to look at your document, scan over it, and get a sense of you in 60 seconds or less. Because they may be going through 30 resumes for one position or one opportunity. And they're not going to read all of them fully. They're not going to read all the applications fully. They're going to look for the ones that best fit and ones they can get rid of without having to consider and put too much effort into it. So, you want your name and your contact information readily available at the top. Now, many of you have created resumes before, and in other classes, you can reuse those resumes. However, you need to make sure that it has the elements that I want. And one of them that it frequently doesn't have is an objective. What is the point that you have submitted this resume? In the case of college and scholarship, in the case of scholarships, it can be to obtain financial assistance to finance college or finance higher education. And notice, because I rant on this a lot, this is an incomplete sentence. This is the one time in which I tell you in my class, do not use complete sentences. Do not use complete sentences. Again, resumes are designed to be read very quickly and to be scanned, not really read. So, notice we start with this word to. If you're going to use these for scholarships, you can rip this and use it yourself. Also, notice that on my bullet statements farther down, see here we've got nice labels. We've got the date, graduation. In your case, it would be May 2021. We've got our bullet statements. There are no complete sentences here. Even under job experience, you'll notice no complete sentences. In fact, you'll notice that we have take, restock, maintain, ensure. These are all action verbs. They're all actions. Oh, there we go. Action verbs. You want your bullet statements to, when you're listing tasks or responsibilities that you have, you want your bullet statements to start with an action verb. It makes you sound more interesting. I do not want to see any pronoun I. No I's. I did this. I did that. I went here. No. The resume is already about you, and that I becomes repetitive. Notice something else here. This resume doesn't have any periods. I don't think there's a period 1 on this resume. And that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. What I want you to watch out for is some students will do this. They'll go, oh, they'll put a period here, and a period there, and a period there. That's where you have a problem, is when you use periods some of the time, but not consistently. So either use periods or don't use periods as far as at the end of these bullet statements. Either use periods or don't use periods, but don't do it part of the time, or don't do it in one section in your bullet statements and not in another. Keep consistency. Resumes are about consistency. All right. Also notice we've got the format of dates here. Each activity has got a start date and an ending date. If you're still involved in that organization or that activity, you can put current or you can put present through present. Again, do you capitalize or do you not capitalize? Doesn't matter as long as you're consistent with each time you use it. I would probably capitalize simply because that you have to capitalize the month, and to me that just looks nicer. But either capitalize or don't capitalize consistently. All right. Notice that with each activity we've got month and year, month and year. Spell out the month. It looks nicer. And that's the one-page resume. Now, some of you, a page is all you got. But some of you will have and can have up to 2 pages. So here's another one. This one's a little more dressy. It's a little more fancy. Got some color to it. That's perfectly fine. But again, name, date, all that's up there. This person, rather than everything being kind of pushed justified left, this person kind of centered stuff. But there's still alignment. The bullets line up the way they should. Very neat. This student uses a period at the end of the objective to obtain grants and scholarships to secure a college education, but they don't use them anywhere else, and they're consistent with that, so that's good. You'll notice here that they have over a page, but not 2 full pages. That's okay. However, your resume or your references need to be on a page by themselves, on the same document, on the same file, but on a page by themselves. So they moved it down and they did that. And that's perfectly acceptable. So, if you already have a resume because you were in another class and you built one already, you can reuse a resume as long as you clean it up and you update it. And make sure that it doesn't have silly inconsistencies, that it has an objective, and that you have your references and whatnot. If you're having to build one from scratch, I've got a link here, and it's a sign-in link because they've changed how you get to Google Docs templates. There are templates, so you can click on that link right here, and it'll open up the template gallery for Google Docs. Now, it doesn't come up right away, Make sure you're not on Orangefield ISD. Make sure you're on General. Orangefield ISD doesn't really have anything. Scroll down. You're going to have to scroll down a bit and pass letter and then resumes. And what you'll see here is you have the option of, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, there it is. You have the option of 5 different resume types, and each one looks a little different. They have some color to them, that sort of thing. Now, here you've got a nice layout. This right here, if you have a title under, if your template has a title under your name, either put student, erase it, or maybe erase this and put your name in the color if you want your name in the color. Don't put what your future career is or anything like that, because you're not there yet. But again, it's going to lay it out for you. A lot of these have skills towards the top, skill section. You don't need a skill section. You don't need a skills section. High school student coming out of high school does not need a skills section. That you can change to the objective. And you do need an objective, which these don't have. The only other thing I'll say here is on this one template, if you should choose it, it's a decent looking, it's nice, but I do want you, again, skills needs to change to objectives. Get rid of hello and I'm. This is a resume. This is a formal document. That is a little too casual for me. So, hello, my name is, or hello, I'm. Get rid of that. Just put your name. I'd put my name in the red part. Replace hello with your name. And then get rid of this part right here altogether. So, if you have any questions, please email me, and I'll be happy to get back to you on that. This is going to be due Monday evening. So you do need to get this moving quick. But if you've already done your resume pre-writing, it shouldn't take you that long.